Fine. So hope you have downloaded the tutorial that it was there. And here, the first question what I have taken, this is in fact a previous past paper question. So in order to give you a kind of understanding how you may be tested on this financial instrument, so I thought of taking a question from a past paper, So this was a kind of a case what we have given a couple of years back. So in fact, 2 years ago, right? Okay. So you can see how that particular question comes. So we are giving a kind of a brief case in that. So, what we would expect, we may expect you to come up with the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income extract, and also the statement of financial position extract. So in that, we may request to show each item of income and expenses separately. So that is what we expect. මීට අවුරුද්දකට දෙකකට වගේ කලින් අපි දීපු පාස් පේපර් එකක් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒකට අන්ඩර්ස්ටෑන්ඩින් එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද ඔයාලා ටෙස්ට් කරන්න කියන කාරණාව. ඒකට මේ වගේ අපි extracts දෙකක් දෙනවා, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income සහ statement of financial position. එතනදී අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ එක් එක් item එක කොහොමද comprehensively අපි record කරන්න කියන එක. එතනදී අපි එක එක item එක වෙන වෙනම පෙන්වන්න කියන එක expect කරනවා. ඒකට අපිට ඒක බලන්න පුළුවන් ඔයා කොහොමද මේ එක එක item එක නිවැරදිව record කරන්නේ කියන කාරණාව. Right. So we may see the case. It was the Xerox PLC, founded in 2012, is currently operating in the healthcare sector as a drug manufacturing company. To date, the company's product portfolio has focused on pain relief, addressing unmet patient needs with a substantial commercial potential in the local market. Since incorporation, the company has invested significantly in research and development to make the drugs manufactured are safe and effective. As the company has built up cash reserves, the directors made a decision to invest in the companies listed on the Columbus Stock Exchange. So over the years, you have built a good cash reserve. So hence, recently, the directors has decided to go and invest them in the public listed entities. Assume that you are the accountant working at Xerox PLC and reporting directly to the financial controller of the company. So you are working attached to the Xerox PLC. You are an accountant who would report directly to the financial controller. The following transaction relating to the financial instruments of the company has been brought to your notice. So there you are given several transactions, and the expectation is to see how those are to be recorded for the year ended 31st March 2020 and as at 31st March 2020. Okay, that is the expectation. Right. So we may take each of these transactions, or what is better? That are you going to put or give it a try first and then followed by the discussion? So that would be better, no? Okay. So let's take one by one and let me give you some chance to try, then we may discuss it, right? The Xerox PLC purchased 100,000 shares in Beta PLC on 1st of August 2018 as a long-term investment at a price of rupees 50 per share, and also incurred transaction cost of 50,000. Immediately after the purchase, the company made an irrevocable election to recognize the remeasurement gains and losses of this investment through other comprehensive income, as allowed in CFRS 9 financial instrument. So you got the option which is irrevocable, in the sense you cannot change them later. So once you made it, and that has to be applied throughout the time that you hold the investment. The market price per share as at 31st March 2019 was rupees 48. Okay. Due to the favorable economic condition, the market price per share as at 31st March 2020 was 54. Okay. You have purchased this somewhere on 2018, 1st of August. Now you are in 2020, 31st March 2020. Okay. Shall we see how you are going to account for this? So just take maybe 10 minutes time. Yeah. Take 10 minutes time and read it and give it a try. Yeah. හරි එහෙනම් තව විනාඩි 10ක් වගේ අරගෙන චුට්ටක් ඇටෙම්ප් කරන්න බලන්න. So in the meantime, you can raise the questions what you may be having, the questions that you would have. So you better raise them as well. Right, if you manage to get the answer, so you can indicate that. So depending on that, we can discuss on it. So if I just take this question, yeah, before taking the question, so if we just discuss about the financial instrument, the accounting for especially the financial asset. So we may have a general discussion on that before we move on to. So here you can see that when it comes to a kind of investment, basically the company's got two broad choices, right? So if you have some cash reserves with you, you have two broader choices. The one is to go and invest in equity instrument. So the one option what you get to go and invest in equity instrument, right? The other option what you got, you can go and invest in debt instrument. Debt instrument. Putting simply, you can go and invest in shares. You can go and invest in debentures. For example, you can go and invest in debentures, no? Or the other way around, what you can do, you can invest in shares. So that is basically a investment in equity instrument. The other one is investment in debt instrument. So if you invest in this equity instrument, broadly your investment can be classified into two as per SLFRS 9. As per the SLFRS 9 financial instrument, you can broadly classify your investment in equity instrument into two. What is that? One is called the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss investment. While the other one, we call it financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. So this is going to be the two broad categories, right? So the default position out of these two, it is going to be the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, right? This is what we call the default position. So whatever the investment that you would do in the equity instrument, it belongs to the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. But this SLFRS 9 financial instrument would give you a kind of option. It gives you an option if you invest in equity instrument, rather than taking that to the default classification, you can treat it as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. We call it, you can designate a particular investment as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. You can designate, right? Them as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. And the particular designation that you would do, is considered as irrevocable. You cannot reverse them later. So once you take that, you need to go by that. It's going to be irrevocable option, right? Irrevocable election. So that is the case. අපි කියනවා අපි shares වල invest කරන එක basically කොටස් දෙකකට යනවා. එකක් financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, අනිත් එක financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි shares වල invest කරොත් default position එක තමයි ඒක irrespective of the purpose ඒක ඉන්නේ financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. හැබැයි අපිට option එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා SLFRS 9 වල අපිට කැමති නම් යම්කිසි investment එකක් certain conditions are there. ඒ conditions වලට යටත්ව අපිට designate කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒ investment එක as financial asset at fair value through profit or fair value through other comprehensive income කියලා. So you can designate in the initial recognition, right? Designation at initial recognition, right? And that particular election is going to be a kind of a irrevocable. So that means you cannot reverse them later. In the sense, you cannot switch back to the financial asset at fair value through P and L. So if you make that choice and go ahead with that throughout the lifetime of that particular investment. That's what it says. හරි? ඒතර අපි මේ විදිහටයි කියන්නේ. එතකොට if we are to further discuss on this, you know, this usually we classify a particular investment as financial asset at fair value through profit or loss based on the intention. So if our intention is trading, we should consider that particular investment as financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. In other words, if your purpose is trading, if your intention is trading, you cannot designate that as a financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. So therefore, the designation is only possible if your purpose is other than trading. Other than trading. So when you will have what? අපේ trading purpose එකේ trading mindset එකකින් අපි කරපු investment එකක් අපිට designate කරන්න බෑ financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. එවනම් අපේ purpose එක trading කියලා question එකේ කියලා තියෙනවා නම් ඔයා දන්නවා මේක තමයි suitable classification එක. If your purpose is other than trading, yes, you can make the designation. You can designate them as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Right? So then if I ask you, so what do you mean by this trading? It's pretty straightforward, right? You purchase the shares at a lower price and you would immediately sell them when the prices goes up and you want to realize the fair value change. So trading කියන්නේ buying and selling. You would buy the shares when the prices is low and you may sell the shares when the prices goes up, right? And when it comes to the other category, it's going to be a kind of a purpose other than trading. Because if the purpose is trading, you never designate it as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. But if the purpose is other than that, you got that chance for the designation. And what are the purpose that you mention as other than trading? For example, this may be a kind of strategic investment. What if the investment that you had made in the shares is going to be a strategic investment? අපි හිතමු අපේ purpose එක strategic investment එකක්. In the sense, you may be having that on the mind that one day you want to be in control of the company that you may invest. Let's say that you have invested in the shares of ABC and your purpose is, the purpose of investment is, you're thinking that in future you want to be in control of this ABC PLC. Hence, at the moment, you may be simply in the process of accumulating the shares. So currently you may be having, say, 10% of the shares. Then sometime later you maybe take another 5%, 10%. Likewise, you would simply accumulate as long as it takes you to the majority of the shares. Hence, your purpose is strategic investment. That is not trading. One example. What will happen if the financial asset recognized as fair value through other be sold at a later time? No problem. So we are going to discuss them. We'll see, right? If you sell them at a later point, The only thing that happens is that whatever the gains that is accumulated, gain or the loss that is accumulated in the financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income reserve get transferred to the retained earning. That's all what it happens, right? We will discuss them later in detail. Good. Uh, so if I give you another example, that sometimes there can be people who would invest in the shares with the purpose of making a dividend income. So in that particular case, your purpose is to hold that investment and make a dividend income. Again, your purpose is not trading. It's a kind of a long term. Hence, if you wish, you can designate them as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Right? These are the two broader categories. Now let's come to the accounting. Then how we are supposed to account for this instrument. Starting from financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, initially how we are supposed to recognize that, or I would say the measurement at initial recognition. කොහොමද අපි මුලින්ම measure කරන්නේ? Measurement at initial recognition, how it's going to be? It's going to be at fair value. What if there are any transaction cost? Transaction cost charged to P&L. That's what you do. Then what about the financial asset at fair value through other companies' income? Initial measurement, fair value plus transaction cost. That's how we initially measure. So this is a remarkable difference. Here we charge the transaction cost to the P&L, whereas here we capitalize the transaction cost. The one fundamental difference. Then, what about subsequent measurement? Subsequent measurement. It's at fair value. It's at fair value. Here also at fair value. How about gains and losses? What about the remeasurement gains and losses? Remeasurement gains and losses. Here, as the term suggests, the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. Charge the gain or loss to the P&L. Here, as the term suggests, take the gain or loss to the OCI. Whatever that you take to the OCI, it will constitute a reserve. It will constitute a reserve. We call it its financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income reserve. So this is the reserve that it would create. Right. Okay. Right. This is about the accounting. And also, if I take as the question that you have raised, one additional thing, what about gain or loss on disposal? Itu මේවා වික්ක කියලා මේ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට් එක gain or loss on disposal වික්කට පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ gain එක හරි loss එක හරියන්න ඕනේ P&L එකට. So what about the financial asset at fair value through other companies' income investment? What if we sell that? Our intention is not to sell them, but to keep it. But what if we sell that? As you have very correctly raised the concern that you have raised. So it's a kind of a realized gain. So therefore, the difference between the carrying amount at the date of sale, at the date of disposal, and the sales proceed, you need to take that to the P&L because it's a realized gain. Then what about the gains and losses that is accumulated in this particular reserve, because we agree that whatever that takes to the OCI would eventually ended up in this reserve, financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income reserve. Then what about that particular reserve now? Now you are no longer having that particular asset. In fact, you have realized that particular asset. If so, the one thing that you need to do, you're going to do that in the statement of changes in equity. Statement of changes in equity. Equity, what you're going to do, you're going to make a transfer. You're going to make a transfer from the fair value through other comprehensive income reserve, whatever the gain or loss, whatever the amount that is there in this reserve, you're going to simply transfer that to the retained earnings. Retained earnings. That's what you do. So this is about the accounting throughout the lifetime of this instrument. එහෙනම් අපි මේ විදිහට තමයි account කරන්න පුතාලා investment in equity instrument. And one last thing, what about the asset that you have at the end of a reporting period? How to present the asset at reporting date. Reporting date එකට අපි කොහොමද asset එක present කරන්නේ? If it is a financial asset at fair value through P&L investment, show them under or present them under current asset. ඒක අපි පෙන්නන්නේ current assets. Yeah. Here, if it is financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income, show them under non-current asset. That's another difference when it comes to presentation of the asset at the reporting date, right? Fine. So this is it. It's about the investment in equity instrument. But if we apply this particular thinking to the question what we got, we have to apply that. Let us look at the first one. You purchased the shares on 1st of August 2018. The easiest way to get this across, it's going to be having an account, having a T account, which made the things easy. T account එකක් දාගමු තාලා. ඒතර ඒක අපිට පහසුයි. Right. Then අපි කම් මේක first එක, it's about investment in beta PLC. No? Investment in shares. It's beta PLC. So in the meantime, if you have any question, yes, you may raise the question then and there, right? Okay. You purchased 100,000 shares on 1st of August 2018 for rupees 50. How many shares? It's going to be 100,000. Let's take the figures in thousands. So it's 100 into 50. It's 100 into 50. So that is the investment that you would make. And also transaction cost was there. It was 50,000. You are supposed to capitalize it. Cash. Okay, you pay the price and you got the investment. You come to the reporting date, you need to remeasure it. Now you are in 31st March 2019. So here you are in 1st of August 2018. So how about the remeasurement? It's at fair value. There it says it's rupees 48. It's 48 into 100 shares. Set. Yeah, 100,000 shares. So here you can see that there you have suffered a loss. So that particular loss should go to the other comprehensive income. So there you can see the loss, it's going to be 250. So take that to the other comprehensive income. So it will eventually reflect in the reserves as well. So take a reserve eකට යනන්නේ. Okay. Then we start the next year. You have the balance brought forward 4,800, 1st of April 2019. Come to the reporting date, make the remeasurement, and it was 54 per share. Its balance carried forward 54 per share. You have still the 100 shares. $4,400. So there it comes to difference, and this time it turned out to be a gain, and that gain is going to be 600, and that goes to OCI. So then this would be the most important year, because you need to produce the extracts from financial statements. Hence, we can see that under OCI you need to show a gain of 600. So if I go to the extract under the other comprehensive income, you need to show that gain on remeasurement. Gain on remeasurement of keep it simple, financial asset at fair value through OCI investment, whatever, right? Gain on remeasurement of financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Since we have only one kind of asset, can take like that, it's 600. Similarly, you need to show them under this. It is your financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income investment. Even if you simply mention the name of the company, that will also do. Since we have only one type of this, I'm just going by this category. And what was the value? And it was found to be 5,400. And not only that, you need to show the reserve, that is financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income reserve. So there you got how much. In the previous period, there was 250 loss, but now it's 600 gain. But once you take the final figure, it's going to be 350. Right. So this is what it is expected. So if you can make these three, that's it. The one is under the OCI, you show this 600. Under the non-current asset, you show your investment. And under the equity, you show the reserve. Right? That's how we do. So anything that you would like to get clarified, anything that you're not comfortable over there? So I would like this to be interactive. So if you're not getting any, please do let me know. Hope you're getting that right. Okay. So if so, we can look at the second aspect. Okay, let's look at the second one. On 30th January 2020, the company purchased 250,000 shares in Aralia PLC at a price of ₹80. So during the current period. Incurred transaction cost 200,000. Investment is specified as financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. Right? The default question. In accordance with SLFRS 9. On 20th March 2020, 100,000 shares were sold at rupees 95 per share. ගත්ත 2,50,000 ලක්ෂයක් විකුණලා තියෙනවා එකක් රුපියල් 95 ගානේ. The market price per share as at 31st March 2020 was rupees 92. ඉතිරි shares වල market price එක දීලා තියෙනවා ඒක කීයද 92. Right, okay. Then it's about the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, so you can work the things out. Give it a try. So let me allow you say 5 to 7 minutes time. Yeah. Give it a try. The easiest way to get this across, it's going to be working out a ledger account. So make use of a ledger account and try the things out. Yeah, if you have managed to get that, yes. So you can indicate the answer. So what was the gain or loss? C1. So there is a kind of realized gains as well as remeasurement gains. How much was it? Good. It was 1,500. Remeasurement gain comes as 1,800. Good. So let us have a look at that. Yes, you're correct. Again, the easiest way, as I told you. So let us take a account. No, it's investment in Aralia PLC. So investment in Aralia. So you made the investment during the current period. You made the investment during the current period, and it was 250,000 shares at 80 per share. No? It's 250 into 80 per share. Right, it's 20,000. That is cash paid on 30th January 2020. And there was a kind of transaction cost, here we agree that the transaction cost must be charged to the P&L. So if you have a transaction cost, charge that P&L. Transaction cost, take them to P&L. And it was around 200. Transaction cost 200. So remember to take them. And then you're going to sell some of these shares on 20th March. It's in fact 100,000 shares for 95 per share. Okay. So if you simply make kind of a disposal account over there, the sale of shares or disposal of shares, whatever, sale of disposal of shares. So here you sell them at how much? It's 95. It's 100,000 shares. 95. 9,500. Then what was the carrying amount of these shares? It was recorded at rupees 80 per share. So you're supposed to take it out here. It's 80 into 100. This is the carrying amount. And that goes to the sale of shares. Sale of shares. So the carrying amount comes as 80 into 100. It's 8,000. You're selling 8,000 worth of shares for 9,500. It's come from the investment account. So consequently, you can see that there's a gain 1,500. It's a kind of realized gain. So take it to the P&L. So here you come to the reporting date. You need to remeasure it. The remeasurement must be at 92 per share. It's 92 into the number of shares left. So you had 250 over there and you sell 100. So therefore only 150 is left out there. Is it okay if we do the disposal in the same investment account? Yes. So if you can manage it, as long as you can manage it, that's fine. Yeah. Manage yeah. Here we have now, let's look at 21,800. 21,800. So the difference comes, it's 1,800. Charge that to the PN. So it goes to the PN. So all these figures must be taken to PN. Right, that's it. Let us take under the other income, you first have the gain on disposal. Gain on disposal of shares. Gain on disposal of shares, 1,500. Then you have gain on remeasurement. Gain on remeasurement of financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. It's 1,800. And there you had some transaction cost. It's going to be transaction cost 200. It's 200. No? So you take them. Then finally the asset you have, that is financial asset. It must be shown under the current asset, right? Financial asset at fair value through and there the remeasurement 13,800. Okay, so we have taken them as well. Right. Now let's look at the next one. So if you have any question, in the meantime, you may let me know, right? Then it says that on 1st of April 2019, the company purchased 12% 3-year rupees 5 million debentures of Gamma PLC at a discount price of 4.66 million. The coupon rate is payable in arrears on 31st March. The effective rate of interest 15%. It is held as part of an investment portfolio which is held up to maturity. So then, so it is a kind of a investment that you treat as the financial asset at amortized cost, right? So we may generally have a look at that. Now we are moving on to the discussion of the other part of the story. In the sense, earlier we agree that when it comes to the investment, you've got two choices. One is to invest in equity instrument, other one is to invest in debt instrument. So if you invest in debt instrument, you need to consider about certain things, and thereafter you can come up with the classification. So as you would have learned, so here if you make a particular investment in the debt instrument, you need to consider that particular instrument for two tests, right? So what these two tests are, one is called the business model test. One is called the business model test. And the second test, what you need to check for, we call it, it is the cash flow characteristic test. Cash flow characteristic test. So these are the two tests that is crucial, right? So depending on the outcome, you may come up with the precise classification. මේ ටෙස්ට් දෙකට අනුකූලව තමයි අපි තීරණය කරන්නේ මොකක්ද මේ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට් එකට හරියන classification එක. ඒකට ඒ අනුව තමයි අපි accounting සිද්ධ කරන්නේ. So when you come to the business model test, what it says? It says that, you know, when it comes to an entity, you know, this is a kind of entity level test, right? It is not an instrument level test, it's an entity level test. Right? මේ ටෙස්ට් එක එක ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට් එකට අදාළව නෙමෙයි මේක entity level එකේ සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ, right? But On the other hand, the cash flow characteristic, it's an instrument-based testing. So instrument level. So therefore, this happens at two levels. When it comes to the business model, when it comes to an entity, they would be having different kinds of portfolio. They may be having the different kinds of portfolio where they keep for different purposes. Their intention may be different to one another. The most common type of the business models are, there can be certain entities who would be holding certain portfolios, right? Who would be holding the portfolio of investment, let's say portfolio A, for example. Their intention is to make a fair value gain, to make value gain. In other words, let's say it is with the intention of trading. You may be carrying this particular investment with the intention of trading, right? So that tells everything. So there can be a particular kind of portfolio. Under that, whatever the instrument that you hold in this portfolio, your purpose is to purchase them at a lesser price and to sell them at a higher price in order to realize the fair value gain, right? So trading, the ultimate intention is to realize the fair value gain. ආයතනයක තියෙන්න පුළුවන් portfolio of investment පවත්වාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. එතන instruments ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. debt instrument තමයි තියෙන්නේ. debt instrument මේ portfolio A යටතේ carry කරන instruments වල අපේ purpose එක තමයි trading. එතකොට ඒකේ අපිට ඕනේ making short term gain එකක් ගන්න, fair value gain එකක් ගන්න. එතකොට අඩු මිලට debt instrument market එකේ මිලට ගන්නවා. market එකේ මිල ඉහළ ගිය ගමන් අපි ඒවා විකුණනවා. එතකොට අපේ portfolio එකේ intention එක තමයි trading. That is one particular kind of a portfolio. The other type, it could be that you have another kind of portfolio that you would maintain. For an organization, if you have money, you can maintain several portfolios, no problem. Say that is portfolio B, for example. So you may be maintaining this portfolio with the purpose of holding the instrument till its maturity and collect the contractual cash flows, right? So here your intention is to hold the instruments till the maturity, and collect contractual cash flows. එතකොට තව ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා, තව පෝර්ට්ෆෝලියෝ එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට්ස් අපි තියෙනවා මැචියුරිටි එක දක්වාම තියාගෙන ඒ කාලය තුල කූපන් එක සහ රිඩෙම්පෂන් වැලියු එක අපි රියලයිස් කරගන්න. ඒකට ඒක තමයි අපි පර්පස් එක. එතනදී අපි හිතන්නේ නැහැ විකුණන්න ඕනේ කියන කාරණාව. Right? Our intention is to get hold to the investment till the maturity. That is the second type of portfolio. And there can be, in extreme, there can be another portfolio which may not be common, but still that can be the case. Portfolio, say C, you have a kind of a hybrid intention. Hybrid. It's not a term that is used in the standard, but I'm just using it. It's a hybrid in the sense you have both the purposes. You have both the purposes. There can be certain investment. There can be certain investment that you want to sell, that you want to make a fair value gain. Some of these instruments that is carried under this portfolio C, time to time you may sell them. So most of the time, based on the liquidity constraint, in order to maintain the liquidity of the entity, so time to time you may sell this instrument. Or on the other hand, there may be some instruments that you would keep till its maturity. You may want to keep it till the maturity. So therefore, it's a kind of a hybrid. That's why I told It's a kind of hybrid portfolio. The sum of the instruments may be selling, while the sum of the instrument you may be kind of a what do you call to keep to collect the contractual cash flows throughout the maturity. Right? These are the business model tests, the different portfolios that you may be having. Right? Then you are coming to the second test. Right? The second test is what we call the cash flow characteristic test. So when it comes to this cash flow characteristic test, what it says that here, when it comes to the cash flows of this particular investment, the investment in debt instrument, it should contain solely, it entirely consists of the coupon at the market rate, and what you call the redemption value or principal at the maturity. So this is the fundamental question it asks. When it comes to the cash flow, it asks whether it entirely consists of coupon at a market rate and the principal amount at the maturity. If a particular instrument is having these two, it's paying the coupon at the market rate and the principal at the maturity, then it says that the cash flow characteristic test is satisfied. Right? So අපි cash flow characteristic test එක satisfy වුණා කියලා ගන්නේ මේ කියන instrument එකේ. අපි බලන්නේ මේක instrument එකට කියලා අපි කිව්වා. ඒ අපි සලකා බලන instrument එකේ තියෙන cash flows සමන්විත වෙන්නේ එකක් coupon at the market rate, අනිත් එක තමයි principal amount at the maturity. Right? එතකොට මේ කියන කාරණාව satisfy මේ කියන condition එක තියෙනවා නම් අපි කියනවා just the cash flow characteristic test is satisfied. Make a satisfied කියලා කියනවා. Right? ඊට පස්සේ අපි ගත්තා අපේ තියෙනවා portfolios කීපයක්. එතකොට මේ portfolios අතරින් අපි ගාව තියෙන portfolio එක අපි හිතමු portfolio B කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ඕනේ මේ instrument එකක් මේ portfolio යටතේ carry කරන instrument එක අපි තියාගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා till its maturity, and we want to collect the contractual cash flows. If that is the intention of your portfolio, we call it the business model test is satisfied. එතකොට අපි business model test එක satisfy වුණා කියන්නේ මේ කියන ආකාරයේ විවිධ portfolios අතරින් අපේ තියෙන purpose එක යම්කිසි instrument මේ යටතේ carry කරන instrument අපි carry කරනවා till the maturity and collect the contractual cash flows. එහෙමනම් අපි ඒක satisfied කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට cash flow characteristic එක අපි අහන්නේ යම්කිසි instrument එකක් ගත්තාම ඒ instrument එකේ අපිට හම්බ වෙන cash flow එක consist වෙන්නේ coupon at market rate and the principal at the maturity. ඔය කියන කාරණා දෙක නම් අපි කියනවා satisfy වෙනවා. ඒතර යම්කිසි instrument එකක් මේ කියන test දෙකම satisfy වෙනවා නම් අපි කියනවා the appropriate classification is going to be the financial asset at amortized cost. Financial assets at amortized cost. එතකොට මෙතන ඔන්න default classification එක අපි මේකට කියනවා this is going to be the default classification. Default classification. ඒක තමයි අපේ default classification එක. So like in case of what you call the financial asset the investment in shares, our default classification was the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. When it comes to a debt instrument, the investment in debt instrument, the default classification is going to be this. right? If both the tests are getting satisfied. So then let's talk about the other instances. The what if your kind of the business model is that you are investing, yes, you are investing in debt instrument, but your business model is that you would be having the intention of trading. If your intention is trading, then you know the business model test fails. If you fail the business model test, right? If you fail the business model test, so what is the consequence? The treatment or the classification for this particular kind of instrument is going to be financial asset at fair value. Fair value through profit or loss. එහෙමනම් අපි trading purpose එකෙන් නම් invest කරන්නේ debt instrument වල. ඒතකොට අපි දන්නවා අපි business model test එක fail වෙනවා. business model test එක fail වුණා කියන්නේ අපේ classification එක වෙන්නේ financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. ඔන්න එක classification එකක්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි අනිත් extreme එකට ගිහිල්ලා බැලුවොත් අපිට තියෙනවා our portfolio is that hybrid. We have both the purpose. If you have a kind of hybrid portfolio, then again you fail the business model test. So if you fail the business model test, the business model test එක fail නම් මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? This time it's going to be the financial asset. It's going to be the financial asset at fair value through the comprehensive income. So this is the treatment, right? Then I can talk about one more instance. It's about this. Let's say that here you satisfy the business model test for a particular instrument. You satisfy the business model test, and you fail to satisfy the cash flow characteristic. So you get the first test done, but in the second test you fails. If you come such a scenario, what must be the classification? So අපි හිතමු business model test එක අපි pass වෙනවා. මම ඒක ගන්නම් වෙනම scenario එකක් විදිහට. මේක වෙනම scenario එකක් විදිහට. අපි කියනවා business model test එක pass වෙනවා, right? යම්කිසි අවස්ථාවක business model test එක pass වෙනවා. We are going to pass the business model test, but we fail the cash flow characteristic test. එතකොට business model test we are going to satisfy because our intention is to hold the instrument till the maturity and collect the contractual cash flows. Yeah. Or it's to hold the instrument till the maturity is there, not even collect the contractual cash flow is not a thing to be considered over there because it is taken care of by the cash flow characteristic now. So it is the only thing that you need to consider all the instrument till the maturity. So if that is there, yes. Then when you come to cash flow characteristics, you're going to fail it. What if you come up with something like this? So let me give you an example for this. So think about the instruments what we discussed in the last class. So what about investment in convertible debenture? Say that you are going to invest in a convertible debenture. If you take that particular instrument, what do you think about the business model test? You carry that particular instrument till the maturity, right? Because if you are to take the option of conversion, the conversion is possible at the maturity. Hence, you have to hold this instrument till its maturity. So therefore, the first test gets satisfied. But what about the cash flow characteristic? What about the coupon that you are getting? Is it at market rate or is it something below than that? අපිට මෙතනදී convertible debenture එකට අපිට interest හම්බෙන්නේ කොහොමද? market rate එකෙන්ද? market rate එකද? effective rate එකද? එහෙම නැත්නම් sorry, not the market rate, but is it something below than that? Yes, as we discussed in the last class, it was below because it compensates. It compensates for the option that it gives you. It gives you an option to convert. Hence, as a compensation, that particular instrument would offer you a kind of a coupon that is below the market rate. Hence, this condition is not there. So therefore, you failed. So if you come up with this, again, this is going to be the accounting treatment. So the example, it is the convertible bond. Convertible debentures. Right. මේ විදිහට තමයි අපි account කරන්නේ convertible debenture එක අපි invest කරොත්. අපි issue කරොත් ඒක අපි දන්නවා split accounting apply වෙනවා. නමුත් අපි invest කරොත් අපි ඒක financial asset at fair value through profit or loss තමයි අපේ treatment එක වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So these are the 4 circumstances what we need to discuss. So, you know, the only instance where you charge the transaction cost, right? Here also the transaction cost can be the case. The only instance where you charge the transaction cost to the P&L is the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. So, මේක හැමතැනම මතක තියාගන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ ඕනෑම වෙලාවක transaction cost එකක් අපි P&L එකට charge කරන්නේ යම්කිසි instrument එකක් at fair value through profit or loss measure කරනවා නම් විතරයි. ඒතර අනිත් සෑම අවස්ථාවකම capitalize. So here capitalize transaction cost. Here also the same. Capitalize transaction cost. So ලේසියෙන් විදිහ තමයි transaction cost සම්බන්ධයෙන් treatment එක මේක මතක තියාගත්තා නම් අනිත් ඒවා okay. Right? Section. Okay, so that's going to be the case. The business model test fail. Does the cash flow automatic? No, the thing is this. So if you fail one of these tests, you need not to consider the other. So you do not take that to the next level. So in fact, see here, if your purpose is trading, and then that means you don't have any consideration towards the kind of a cash flows. So for sure, you may not carry them till the maturity, and even you do not bother about the coupon, right? So that's the point. So if your purpose is trading, that you want to immediately make a gain out of that. So therefore, no point of going for the cash flow characteristic. Here also the same applies. So if it fails one test, there's no point of going beyond that. Good. Right. So this is about the investment in debt instrument. Now you can apply this thinking. In fact, I have taken one question where you would be exposed to all the 3 instances in a single question. Then you may have a kind of complete understanding on that. Yeah, let me take that question first. So before we come to the question over here, so shall we go to the question number 2 and let us work that under the 3 instances, then the things would be more convinced. අපි වෙන පුතාලා මුලින්ම question number 2 එක work out කරලා ඇවිල්ලා අපේ පළවෙනි question එකට යමු. ඒකට මට එකකින් explain කරන්න පුළුවන් ඔයාලට මේ අවස්ථා තුනම, right? So let's look at the question number 2. On 1st of January 2018, Tisara bought rupees 100,000 5% bond for 95,000, incurring transaction issue cost of rupees 2,000. So you bought, it's kind of investment, and you incur some issue cost. Okay. The interest is received in arrears. That means at the end of the period, the bond will be redeemed at a premium of rupees 5,960. Okay, it will be redeemed at a premium. You bought it at a discount, but it will redeem at a premium or nominal value on 31st December 2020. It's like 1st of January 2019, 20. It's like 3-year bond. It's a 3-year bond. The effective interest rate is also given, that is 8%. Apart from that, you are given the fair value of bond at each reporting date. Sorry, 31st December 2018 and 31st December 2019. Then it asks you, explain with calculation how the bond will have been accounted for over all relevant years. So there are certain circumstances. If the theoretical business model is to hold the bond until the redemption date. So your business model, you want to hold this till the maturity. And the taken for granted assumption, the cash flow characteristic would cover these two. Because if it is held till the maturity, then it is given. It's at the market rate and also the maturity. You are getting the principal amount. Right. So under the first circumstances, let us see that. So again, the easiest way to get this is going to be the financial asset at amortized cost investment. So therefore, let me take the account over here. So අපි එක account කරලා බලමු දාලා. Otherwise it might disturb the flow. No? Let us take that to a different sheet. For the question 2, we may be using a different one, right? The easiest way is to get the particular account. Right. This is your investment in both. It's one, no? It's an investment in bond. It's financial asset at fair value through sorry, financial asset at amortized cost. Get over amortized cost, right? So the first two models get satisfied, and we are going to see how the accounting should be. So initially, when you purchase it, so you need to incur that. It's 95,000. It's 100,000 bond with the face value, but you just bought them at 95,000. ඒක අපි ඔන්න 95,000කට ගත්තේ. හැබැයි 95,000කට ගන්නකොට you had to incur issue cost. So if you have the transaction cost, it need to be capitalized. As we agreed, it has to be capitalized. Transaction cost 2,000, capitalize it, cash. Right. This is about the measurement at initial recognition. It's a fair value plus the transaction cost. You know, in any instrument, initial recognition, that must be at the fair value. So here it's fair value plus the transaction cost. Then what about the amortized cost? So මොකක්ද මේ amortized cost again? The standards define that the amortized cost is like this. It says that amortized cost equals amount outstanding at the beginning of the period. Standard defined කරන්නේ මේ විදිහට. It says that the amortized cost is the amount you need to take, the amount outstanding at the beginning of the period. Then you need to add, if it is a kind of asset, you need to add the interest income. You know, interest income එක add කරන්නලු at what? Effective interest rate. Effective interest rate එකට interest income එක add කරන්නලු. Then deduct the coupon rate, coupon interest, yeah, coupon. It's a coupon. So what you get is amortized cost. That's it. Amortized cost කියන්නේ මේ විදිහට තමයි define කරන්නේ. Take the amount outstanding at the beginning of the period, apply the effective interest rate. Okay, let us apply that interest income. How much it's going to be? 97,000 is their amount outstanding at the beginning of the period. The question says that the effective interest rate is 8%. So once you apply 8%, this is it. Okay, you did that. Then you need to take the coupon, deduct coupon. Okay, you receive the coupon, cash gets debit, here it gets credit. How much? The coupon is always based on the par value of the bond, 100,000 into the coupon rate. 100,000 into coupon rate, 5%. So here how I get that? Just to show 97,000 into 8%. And here how I get that? It's 100,000 into. Okay. Then whatever the value that you get as the balance carried forward, that is what we call the amortized cost. ඒකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ amortized cost එක. So here we get it, the balance carried forward. This is it. The amortized cost. When I pay amortized cost. Right? That's how we do. So the question asks us to account this throughout the lifetime. Hence, we may go and do the accounting. So this is for the first year, that is in the sense for the year ended 31st December 2018. So that's the hard day. So like this second, you were count, right? 31st December 2020, sorry, 2018. Then you start the next year, see whether you are fine with that. If anything that you are not getting, so do let me know. See whether you are getting it. Right, hope you are fine. Now you have to do simply continue the same. Take the interest income, how? The amount outstanding at the beginning of the period, apply the effective interest rate. Take the coupon, deduct it. It's always the face value into the interest, the coupon rate. So look at what is the amount outstanding. So here you get the balance carried forward. $102,741. You can use an amortization table as well, right? Yes, you can. You can use the amortization table as well. So in fact, that is also a good alternative. Right, it's going to be 102,741. So in the final year, you take it and apply the 8%. Sorry, take the amount outstanding, apply 8%. This is going to be the interest income, and you receive the coupon cash 100,000 into 8. So now it comes to the redemption. Now it comes to redemption. You are going to receive the redemption value, the principal amount outstanding. So here, if you work that out, you can see. So yeah, it's a mistake. It's not 8,000, it's 5%. No, sorry. Right, here you get 1,500,960. See whether it is fine with the what the question has said you. The question said that it is redeemed at a premium of 5,960. So the face value is 100,000. Once you apply this premium 5,960, you must be getting them redeemed at 105,960. So it is finally getting redeemed at that particular value. So it's perfect. So what we have done is perfectly correct, right? Menang api onnu da throughout the lifetime we did the accounting. Api accounting කරවන්න lifetime එක පුරාවට, right? මේක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ what you call the amortized cost. The investment that you are having at amortized cost. It's normally it's a kind of a non-current asset. It's a non-current asset, but once you come to the final year, so since it is getting realized within 1 year, it must be a current asset. But usually it's a non-current asset. එතකොට අපි එක first request එකට අනුව requirement එකට අනුව account කරමු. දැන් අපි බලමු දෙවෙනි එක. It says that if the Tisera's business model is to hold the bond until redemption, but also to sell them if the investment with higher return become available. Okay, so let me keep it for a while. Let me take the third one first. අපි ගමු තුන්වෙනි එක. If the Tisera's business model is to trade the bond in the short term. So අපි හිතුවොත් තිසරගේ purpose එක මේ bond එක trading purpose. එයා ඒක short term gain එකක් නම් expect කරන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ his portfolio that the particular asset is carrying is a kind of a trading portfolio. You want to realize the fair value changes, right? You want to realize the fair value changes, right? Fair value changes වට realize කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඒත් එහෙමනම් මොකක්ද default classification? It's a financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. එතකොට ඔයා මේ කියන instrument එක carry කරන්නේ trading purpose එකෙන් නම්. එතකොට ඔයාගේ instrument එකේ accounting කොහොමද කියලා අහන්න. Okay. So let us look at that, how your accounting is going to be. එහෙම වුණොත් කොහොමද ඔයාගේ accounting? Let's see. So if it is a kind of investment as such, this is investment in bonds, right? It's investment in bonds. In bonds වල කරන investment එක. It's a financial asset at fair value through P&L. If that is the case, what we have agreed, initially we need to recognize them at fair value, no? Initially need to be recognized at fair value. Okay, cash 95,000. Transaction cost 2,000 is there. What you are supposed to do with that? Transaction cost. Transaction cost charge to the P&L. අපි ඒක P&L එකට charge කරනවා කියලා කිව්වා. එහෙනම් initially ඔයා incur කරපු 2,000 charge කරන්න P&L. ඊට පස්සේ it's quite simple. If it is financial asset at fair value to profit or loss, all what you have to do at the end of the reporting period, go and remeasure. So in the first year end, what is the amount of the bond? It says that it's 110,000. Okay, take it 110,000. So now you can see it's 110,000 over there, 110,000 over here. Then the difference, there you can see a gain on remeasurement. How much? 15,000. So what is that? It's a gain on remeasurement. Gain on remeasurement. Right? One of the remeasurement gain එකක් තියෙනවා කීයක්ද? පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ 15,000. ඒතර පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ අපි විකුණලා නැහැ. අපි විකුණලා තියෙන්නේ මේක අවුරුදු දෙකක් විතර ගියාට පස්සේ 1st of January. So therefore if you have done the accounting for 2018, this is how it would have been. 2018 අපි accounting කරා නම් මේ විදිහට තමයි වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ. Then again one thing that, so willingly or unwillingly, what we have done is that we have got hold to this particular instrument for about 1 year. අපි කැමැත්තෙන් හෝ අකමැත්තෙන් මේ instrument එක hold කරගෙන තියාගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා අවුරුද්දක්. If you had hold that particular instrument, you have another reward. What is that? That is your coupon. එතකොට ඔයාට coupon එකත් හම්බ වෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඒකත් තව ඔයාට හම්බ වෙන ප්‍රතිලාභය. So you are getting the coupon as well. So it's a kind of interest income, right? But you can see that in case of amortized cost, how you calculate the interest? Amortized cost එක යටතේ ඔයා interest එක calculate කරේ කොහොමද? By applying the effective interest rate. This was just a cash dividend that you got, the interest that you got in terms of cash. So therefore, this was not the income under the amortized cost. It was based on the effective interest rate. But here, since it's a kind of additional thing that you are getting, additional reward that you are getting for just holding this instrument, this is also turned out to be a income. So the coupon, what you get, it's 100,000 into 5%. This is also your income, right? That's how you do. This is for 2018. Then how about for 2019? You again start the year with the fair value of the instrument. Reporting date comes, you need to remeasure it. So what is the value? This time it's 104,000. So what has happened? It's 110,000. So this time what has happened? It's a kind of a loss. So it's a loss on remeasurement. So charge that to the period. So in the following period, you made a loss. So this is for 2018 figures, 31st 18. I have taken this for 2019. Loss on remeasurement. So there it comes, a loss of 6,000. Again, you receive the coupon. Willingly or unwillingly, you have get hold of this instrument. කැමැත්තෙන් හෝ අකමැත්තෙන් අපි instrument එක ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේත් අපි තියාගෙන ඉඳලා අපේ intention එක නම් මේක get hold to instrument නෙමෙයි, මේක අපිට විකුණන්නයි ඕනේ. මොකද අපිට තාම favorable market terms ආවේ නැහැ අපි අපේක්ෂා කරපු විදිහට. So you get hold to that. You start the next year, balance brought forward 104,000, 1st of January 2020. Now what you have thought of, you thought of selling that. You're selling the instrument at fair value. Now you have made a decision on the very next day, you thought of selling it. You thought of selling it at that particular amount, 104,000, right? So you can see it's 104,000, no gain or loss. From the disposal, neither gain nor loss. Disposal එකෙන් කිසිම වෙනසක් නැහැ. ඔයා විකුණුවේ ඒ තිබ්බ fair value එකටමයි. Right? Then what has happened? So if you truly analyze this, you bought this instrument at 95,000, eventually you sold them at 104,000. ඔය 95,000ට ගත්ත එක 1,04,000කට විකුණුවා. මම අපි නිකන් සාමාන්‍ය විදියට හිතලා බැලුවොත් 104ට වික්ක 95ට ගත්ත එක. එහෙනම් ඔයා මේ transaction එකෙන් gain එකක් make කරා 9. तर කොහොමද ඔයා ඒක report කරේ systematically? You report a gain of 15,000 over here, then there's a loss of 6,000 in the following period. So consequently, if you consider about the accumulated impact, yes, you have ended up recording 9,000 gain. So that is the end result. But the way you report it, it's going to be more systematic and it is different. Right? So මේක යථාර්ථය තමයි නිරූපණය වෙන්නේ. අපි 95ට ගත්ත එක 1,04,000ට වික්කා. අවුරුදු දෙකක් ඇතුළත අපි ගේන් එක 9,000ක් හෙව්වා. හැබැයි ඒක අපි report කරේ මෙන්න මේ විදිහට. 2018 අවුරුද්දේ 15,000ක ගේන් එකක්. The following period 6,000 loss එක. If you take the net impact, it's 9,000. 9,000. So apart from that, you made a gain of 10,000 over here as well. That was your coupon. Coupon එකකින් ඔයා 10,000ක් එව්වා. Okay, so that is about the investment in bonds, the financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. If there's anything you're not convinced, just do let me know. බලන්න පුතාලා ඒකේ පැහැදිලි නැති දෙයක් තිබ්බද කියලා. Right. Okay, then seems that you are fine with that. හරි. නම් තව එක okay නේ. හරි. අපි එමුනම් බලමු the other instance, right? What is that? The second instance, it says that the thesaurus business model is to hold the bond until the redemption, but also to sell them if the investment with higher returns become available. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔයාගේ පරමාර්ථය redemption එක දක්වා තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ. නමුත් හොඳ investment opportunities ආවොත් දැන් තියෙනවා විකුණනවා. So if you look at that, what is your business model? It's a kind of a hybrid business model. If your business model is hybrid, you fail the business model test. Consequently, the accounting treatment, financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Right? Now let's see how you are going to account for such kind of instrument that is classified as financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Then අපි බලමු කොහොමද ඒක අපි account කරන්නේ කියලා. So your accounting should reflect this hybrid nature. So the accounting treatment එක reflect කරන්න ඕනේ මේ තියෙන hybrid nature එකත්. Right? Okay. So this is about the investment in bond. It's a financial asset at fair value through the comprehensive income. Okay. So starting from the investment, you take the investment cash, you invest 95,000. Transaction cost is there. Transaction cost. So you need to capitalize it. It's a financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. Okay, 2,000. So when it comes to this hybrid nature, I told you that the accounting must reflect both. Your intention, you are having both the intention. In one hand, you think of holding the instrument till the maturity. So therefore, in a way, it is financial asset at amortized cost. So in order to reflect that, what you are supposed to do, take this amount, the amount outstanding at the beginning of the period, right? 97,000. So that is exactly equal to what you have done earlier, the financial asset at fair value through, so financial asset at amortized cost. And then you applied what? The effective interest rate. So here you also need to do the same and take that particular gain to the P&L. In fact, that is your interest income. මම කිව්වා ඔයාගේ accounting method එකෙන් reflect වෙන්න ඕනේ අර කියන purpose දෙකම. එක පැත්තකින් ඔයා හිතනවා මේක to hold the instrument till the maturity, අනිත් පැත්තෙන් ඔයා හිතනවා මේක අවස්ථාවක් හම්බුනොත් විකුණනවා කියන කාරණාව. දැන් මේ දෙකම reflect වෙන්න ඔන්න එක treatment එකක් අපි අරගෙන යනවා. අර මුලින් තිබ්බ financial asset at amortized cost විදිහට අපි කොහොමද treat කරන්න කියන විදිහට අනිත් පැත්තෙන් අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා measure කරන්න at fair value as per the financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. So if it is at amortized cost, then what you did, you take the coupon cash 100,000 multiplied by 5%. That is your coupon. Then what you do, as I told you, since you are taking a kind of some part of this, you think of selling them. So therefore, it is other comprehensive income. You need to remeasure this at fair value. At the end of the period, remeasure them at fair value. So what is that value? It's 110,000. But අනිත් පැත්තෙන් ඔයා remeasurement එකකුත් කරනවා. treatment දෙකම අරගෙන යනවා. එක අතකට financial asset fair value through other comprehensive income අපි දන්නවා reporting date එකට fair value එකට measure කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට amortized cost එක යටතේ ඔයා interest income එකක් ගන්න එක කරන්න ඕනේ. coupon එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. So you are applying both. So having done that, this is the accounting for the end of the first year. Sorry, it seems that, so here this side is having the greatest amount. Side is tend to have the greatest amount, as I see. මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන value එක වැඩි වගේ පේනවා. 115,000. 115,000. So if you take the difference, it's going to be 10,240. It's a kind of a gain. It's a kind of a gain. It's a gain එකක් තියෙනවා අපිට 10,240, and that must be taken to the OCI. It's a remeasurement gain. So therefore, if you had shown this for 2018, so what you would do, you take interest income to the P&L. Interest income එකක් ගන්නවා P&L එකට කීයක්ද? 7,760. On the other hand, you take a gain on remeasurement where to OCI. OCI එකට ගන්නවා අපි remeasurement එකක්. How much? It's 10,240. And this 110,000, this must be shown as a non-current asset. Make a non-current asset එකක් වෙන්න ඕන. Right. That would be your accounting for the 2018. Then what about 2019? You start the year, balance brought forward 110,000. 1,10,000 ඔන්න පටන් ගත්තා. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්ද, right? Then again, as we agreed, you need to treat if it were a financial asset at amortized cost. So then you need to take the interest income, right? But here be conscious, because this has to be exactly similar to the financial asset at amortized cost. So therefore, you cannot simply take this 110,000 and compute the interest income. එතකොට ඔයාගේ මේ ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් එක මම කිව්වා මේක නිකන් හරියට financial asset at amortized cost ගියා වගේම වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. එතකොට මේ 1,10,000 කියන amount එක අරගෙන නෙමෙයි අපි interest income එක ගණනය කරන්නේ. ඔයා මේක work out කරා නම් amortized cost එක යටතේ ඒකේ තියෙන්න තිබ්බ amount එක කීයද? That would have been 99,760. 99,760ක් තමයි තියෙන්න තිබ්බේ ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මුල. අන්න ඒ amount එක base කරලා තමයි අපි interest income එක ගන්න කරන්නේ. වෙනත් වචන වලින් කිව්වොත් කිසිම වෙනසක් නැහැ. මේක හරියට financial asset at amortized cost විදිහට treat කරා වගේ. Right? 60 apply this. And that is your interest income. 99,760 into 8%. It's 7,980. That is exactly similar to the amount what you had got earlier. The amount is equal. Right. No problem. Then you have the coupon, cash, 5,000. Right. You got the cash 5,000. Then take the remeasurement, balance carried forward. The remeasurement, it's 104,000. Right. Now which side is the greatest? It seems that side is the greatest. It's 117,980, 117,980, and here it comes a kind of remeasurement loss. Remeasurement loss එකක් වගේ තියෙන්නේ. It's 8,980.8. It's goes to the OCI. The OCI එකට මේ පාර වන්න දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්ද යන්නේ අපේ loss එක. So if you have done this for 2019, 2019. You have the interest income that you would usually charge to the P&L, 7,980.8. For the OCI, the loss on remeasurement, OCI, you took how much? It's going to be 8,980.8. Okay, take it. Moving on to the final year, starting from the balance brought forward, you have not solved it. Right? You need to take the interest income, but when you are taking the interest income, you need to make sure that it were counted as financial asset at amortized cost. So therefore, it's 102,741. 102,741. 102,741 into 8%. So applying that 102,741, that is into 8,200, 19.28. It's a small difference. Fine. Sit. And then you can see that since you have not sold that, so this instrument must be getting redeemed. So අපි මේක වික්කේ නැහැ. විකුණන්න කියලා හිතාගෙන අදහසකුත් තිබ්බා. ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට් එක till the maturity අරගෙන යන අදහසකුත් තිබ්බා. eventually කොහොම නමුත් අපිට මේක විකුණන්න සිද්ධ වුණේ නැහැ. ඒකට විකුණන්න සිද්ධ වුණේ නැත්නම් මොකක්ද සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ? මේක redemption value එක අපි ගන්න ඕනේ. So if you have done it perfectly, you must be getting it redeemed at the value. Sorry, you need to consider about the redemption, right? Redemption value we consider karandone. It is getting redeemed at what value? It is 105,960. එකසිය පහයි 960කට තමයි අපි මේක redeem කරගන්නේ. So therefore, if you look at the values, the which side is having the greatest is this. So then you can see eventually there is a kind of a gain or loss situation. In fact, it's a kind of a again a loss scenario. 1,259.18. That must be taken to the OCI. It's a kind of a remeasurement loss, right? It's also a remeasurement loss. So in the final year, if you take this 2020, again you have these two components. The interest income 8,219.28, loss on remeasurement 1,259.28. Then අපි බැලුවොත්, if you think logically, so here what has actually happened? මොකක්ද ඇත්තටම වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? අපි මේ instrument එකේ අපි purposes දෙකම තිබුණා. නමුත් අවසානයේ සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන එක we have simply hold them till the maturity. එතකොට අපි ඒක till the maturity වෙනකම් hold කරා. එහෙනම් effectively සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ අපි මේ පළවෙනි method එක යටතේ ගත්ත interest income එක P&L එකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එතෙන්ට එහා කිසිම දෙයක් සිද්ධ වෙන්න බෑ. ඒතර අපි බලමු මේ method එකේ ඒක ensure කරනවාද කියලා. First year එකේ income එක okay 7,760 ඒක agree වෙනවා. දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ 7,980 තියෙනවා. ඒකෙත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඒකත් ensure වෙලා තියෙනවා. තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්දෙත් 8,219.28 ඒකත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. හැබැයි මෙන්න මේ figures ප්‍රශ්නය. මේක අදාළ වෙන්න බෑ. එතකොට මෙතන මොකක්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? OCI 10,240 gain එකක් ඔය අඳුරගත්ත 2018 19 වල loss එකක් 20 වලත් loss එකක්. දැන් අපි මේකේ cumulative figure එක බැලුවොත් මොකක් වෙලාද? මේ cumulative figure එක 0 වුණොත් අපිට පේනවා effectively ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ කියන treatment එක විතරයි. Let's see whether it works. Yes, that is exactly. So this can be ignored. It's a rounding difference. So it is effectively 0. එහෙමනම් effective විදිහට සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන මේක financial asset at fair value, sorry, financial asset at amortized cost විදිහට account වෙනවා. අපි මේ විදිහට OCI දැම්මට ඔයාලට පේනවා පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දාව ගේන් එක subsequent periods වල reverse වෙනවා. එතකොට cumulative effect එක 0. ඒතර මේ accounting treatment හරිම consistent. Right? හරිම consistent විදිහට සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා කියන එකට තහවුරුවක් තමයි මේක. Right? So that is what the accounting is. So if it is a financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income. So does that make sense? If anything you are not quite convinced, yes, you can let me know, then we can have a look at that. See whether you are fine with that. පැහැදිලිද බලන්න පුතාලා ඒක? Right. Okay. So then if you're fine with that, let us just look at the question number 1. Let us try to complete it because we were halfway through. So in that we were in the third question. So now it would be quite easy because it's a kind of investment that must be classified as financial asset at amortized cost. So let us take that. It is 4,660,400. There are instrument count කරමු. This way I was working on that. It's about debentures of Gamma PLC. Investment debentures Gamma PLC. Gamma PLC के debentures ගත්තේ කීයට ගත්තේ 4,660,400. It's 4,660,400. It is cash. So no transaction cost in the case. No transaction cost was there. So it says that the effective interest rate is 15%. You can simply apply that. For the amount outstanding, apply the interest rate. It's 15%. This is going to be the interest income. Then you get the coupon. Coupon that's going to be 12% into 5 million. 5 million, 12%. It's 600,000. So once you get that, you're getting the balance carried forward. Here we have the balance carried forward. Right. This is it. Now let us do the counting. It's about the interest income. It's 699.06. So from the investment, what you get, the interest income. Your interest income, and you have got it 699.06. And also your investment, it's a kind of a long-term investment. It's a financial asset at amortized cost. Cost is investment. Value came as 4,759. It's 4,759.46. Right. Okay, we got it. Now we are moving on to the final one. What is that? It's a easy one. It's a convertible bond. So on 1st of April 2019, the Xerox PLC issued 10,000 convertible debentures at rupees 1,000 each at par. तर මෙතනදී ඔයා තමයි issue කරලා තියෙන්නේ debentures. It's a convertible debenture, right? The coupon is given and it's 12%, and further it says you can convert them on 22nd, 31st March, like in 3 years, 2021, 22, yeah, 3 years time. And the investors would have required 15%, the effective interest rate, the market rate, 15%. So you can easily do that. In fact, we have discussed them in the last classes. For the sake of completion, let us just take them through. So it's about the convertible debenture. So let us take convertible debenture as well. It's investment convertible debentures. Sorry, it's about issue, no? It's convertible debts, debentures. You know, two components are there. Just it's about debt component, the debt component, as well as you got the equity component as well. We call it the equity option. Convertible bond, equity option. Right. So you need to apply the split accounting. So in that, forecast the future cash flows. So it's a 3-year bond. In that, so what is the easiest way is that you can apply this the discounting factor and also the annuity factor. Year 1, 2, 3. And the cash flow, what you get, what is that? It is the coupon. So it's like 10,000 convertible debentures, 10,000 convertible debentures at 1,000, and that is into coupon rate 12%. So this much of 1.2 million of coupon you are receiving. And at the maturity, you are getting the redemption value. And what is that? It's 10,000 into 1,000. 10,000 debentures, 1,000 each. So this is at year 3. So here you can apply the discounting factors. Here, in fact, you can apply the annuity factor at 15%. If you take the annuity factor, it's going to be 2.283. 2.283. So annuity factor, right? And the discounting factor for the next one at the year 3, it's going to be 0.658. 0.658 discounting factor and annuity factor as well. Slope annuity factor at 15%. දෙකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ. අවශ්‍යනම් අපි මේක මොකක්ද කියන එකත් ලියමු. එතකොට ඒක පාස් වෙනවා. So this is your kind of the coupon, and this is redemption. Right, or the principal at the maturity, you can say either. You get that. So now you can take the discounted cash flow. You get the discounted cash flow. So simply multiply and get the discounting So you can apply, then you can see. So it comes as 9,319,600. So this is the kind of a debt component. So from the cash what you have received, you can take 9,319.6 over here. Then what is the equity option? That is simply the difference. So here you have the 10,000 receipt. It's going to be 10,000, the total receipt what you would get. It simply work it out. 10,000 shares into 50,000 debentures into 1,000 each. This is the amount. So if you take that, ignoring the three, if you take the figures in 1,000, it's going to be 10,000. That is the money that you get. So out of that, 9,319.6 is a kind of a debt, and the difference, that is your equity option. So as far as the equity is concerned, there is no remeasurement. You can simply take the amount as it is. But here, you need to apply the default accounting, that is the amortized cost. You need to apply the accounting at amortized cost. If it is a liability, you need to take the amount outstanding at the beginning of the period, take the interest expense at the effective interest rate, 9,319.6 into 15%. That is your interest expense. You get it, 19,319.6, that is into 15%. And then you get the cash, the coupon, and how much it's going to be. And that was 10,000 into 12, 1,200, 1,200. So accordingly, if you take the balance carried forward, that is the value at which you need to show the statement of profit or loss, statement of financial position. So here we get the balance carried forward. This is it. 9,517.54. 9,517.5. So if you get that, yeah. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the finance expenses. That is interest expense. There it comes. 1,397.94. Okay. It's a finance expense. And then you have the equity. It's about the convertible debt, convertible debentures, equity component, or equity option, let's say. Equity option, right? It's convertible. It's going to be 618.4 or something. Mistaken. 680.4, right? Here we have 9,570. 9,517.54 or something. Yeah. So that is your convertible debenture debt component. Okay. So this is it. If you have managed to do this, then you deserve the total marks. Then you deserve the total marks. So here there were a couple of more questions, like there was one instrument where you were supposed to take the impairment testing, and there was another, it was on the forward rate arrangement. So yeah, that was what it is there. So this part might have accounted for like 20 marks, yeah, roughly 20 marks. So if you can manage to do something of this nature, so you deserve the 20 marks, the whole 20 marks. Right. So there may be some questions what we have to discuss on this. Probably in the next class we can discuss them together with. So there's one question left over here, and also I need to take one more question on this impairment with you. And also in the last class there were one question left that was about the options. So it is into the derivatives. So I want to take them as well. And apart from that, let us look at accounting for a kind of a forward trade agreement as well. And then in the time to come, we may be looking at the hedge accounting as well, right? So therefore, I would love to take one more tutorial covering certain aspects of this financial instrument as well as the other aspects like the biological assets. So there are certain aspects what I want to discuss with you, right? So, so in the usual time, so in the next week also we are having the tutorial. So I'm quite pleased with your attendance. So attendance was quite good. So comparatively, right? So it was not. It's true that the half of the students are not there, but still, it was around 80 or something. So it's a kind of reasonable number. So I'm happy with that. Okay, then thank you very much. So if you have anything to get clarified, yes, now it is time. So if not, we can stop at this point. Right. Okay, then hope you all are doing good. So then thank you very much. So let's see you in the next class. Thank you.